we go. Hopefully you can all see that. Okay, so that's RITA. So basically, along the top, you've got all of your areas of content. We've got music, radio and relaxation, images, TV and movies, fun and games, books and quizzes, creative activities, and you've got your personal and health. So whatever you want to do, you select the icon at the top and it brings back all of the other options underneath for you. So it's extremely simple to find the relevant content that you're looking for. Okay. If we wanted to listen to music, we literally click on music, radio and relaxation at the top. So within music, radio and relaxation, we've got obviously all of the music themed content. Okay. So if we want to listen to music, we click on music. And within this, you've got genre and regional content, okay? Genre is where most of your music sits. So in here, we can select anything from big band and blues, you've got Christmas music, country music, hymns, pop music up to the present day, right the way through to rock and soul, okay? So whatever you want to listen to, we can basically select whichever section is the most appropriate. It will then bring all the songs back that are in that genre alphabetically. Okay, and then when you select whichever song you want to start off with, it will then randomly select songs from that genre until you turn them off. Okay, so if I start with a bit of Crystal Chandeliers, if you don't like Charlie Pride, then we can just skip to the next song. Bit of Kenny and Sheena. Okay, who doesn't like a bit of Kenny? Now, if somebody says that they like Kenny Rogers, what you can do is you can select more from this artist and it will basically find anything from those particular artists. Obviously, we've only got one from Kenny and Sheena, but if I was to go in and find something else, let's just bit of John Denver. So more from this artist, and it brings back all of the John Denver songs that are in the database. Okay, so it just means that you can continue to support people when you need to. Okay, so if they're making a comment about, you know, it was their wife's favorite artist or their husband's or whatever, then we can just see if there's anything else within that genre or that particular artist that is going to resonate with them that will make them feel settled and supported. We can search a little bit further. So with the search and filter option, you've got search by artist, search by track, and you've got filter by decade as well. Now, this is the most popular one. And with this, we basically we've grouped all of the decades together just to make it more simple for you. So we do find this is used a lot for music therapy. We know it works. We know from feedback from care homes, for instance, where they've been supporting people for years, the amount of homes that come back to us and say the amount of things that we found out about people, because often residents or patients or whoever, if you ask them what their favourite music is, they could probably tell you a few songs, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the music that has the biggest memories associated with them. And what we find is by listening to all sorts of different music from different eras, it gives people an opportunity of hearing a piece of music and then remembering you know, the reason why it's important to them or whatever else, and you know, you won't know that until you hear the music. So they won't be able to say play this song because I've got this memory attached to it, but as soon as the song's playing, they will remember it. So again, it's one of the most popular ways of using the RITA system. And again, it brings all the songs from the 1950s in this instance back alphabetically. We can then click on any one and then it will randomly select them until we turn it off. Okay. So other sections within music, you've got your sing-along. Now your sing-along is karaoke, which is great fun. And I have seen many a patient in the middle of a hospital ward standing up singing and serenading the rest of the bay or the ward, which is great. I've even seen it in an A&E department, if I'm honest. I've seen it all over the place. But there is more of a therapeutic element to this as well. Yes, it is around, you know, RITA is designed to support quality of life and well-being, and nothing improves well-being quite so much as music and comedy, which is why we've got both within the system. Okay, but music we know is very powerful, but it also can work on numerous different levels. And what we find with the sing-along is that actually having the lyrics on screen, because they sing, it's the music and the lyrics as well, the lyrics can often engage people just a little bit more. So if you are trying to carry out a medical intervention or something like that, then, you know, if somebody likes a particular artist, we often find that having the song play via the sing-along with the words on screen just gives that added layer of distraction. And I had a really nice case study with a home in Solihull actually, where they had a gentleman there who had quite advanced dementia. He was quite a big man, and he had multiple conditions, and one of those meant he needed to have regular blood tests, and it was actually the blood test that caused the issue. You know, he would often have escalations of behaviour, and on a couple of occasions it had become quite a serious safeguarding incident. He loved Elvis, and they used to listen to Elvis through the music section, but then they started playing it through the sing-along, and what they found was, again, he wouldn't always sing the songs, but he would engage with the lyrics on screen. And they used it when he had one of his blood tests, and it made a massive difference. The nurse couldn't believe it was the same person, because this gentleman, who normally became very aggressive, you know, very distressed, just sat there, let the bloods be taken, and carried on watching the lyrics on screen, following each lyric with his finger. So again, it can be used as an entertainment type thing, but there is a massive therapeutic intervention side to it as well. So do think about that when you're using sing along. But there are hundreds and hundreds of songs in there for you. All right. Your relaxation. Now, this is a real love of mine. We get so much feedback about this. If you've not used it before, you know, make it your first port of call to use and to try, because it works on so many different levels. It's exactly what it says it is. It's relaxation type music. So it's your spa type music and things like that, you know, really fabulous to calm people and to change an environment quite quickly. Now, we use it in a multitude of different ways. So we've used it for years for sleep therapy. We use it at meal times. It keeps people calmer for longer. We've used it in quite a number of instances in hospitals at meal times, and they have seen quite an improvement in the amount that people eat, and because, as I say, it keeps people calmer for longer. We use it with sundowning. So if you get incidents of sundowning within your environment, then you put this on about half an hour before you'd normally start to see those escalations in behaviour. We see a massive decrease in the amount of sundowning incidents that are reported. And then another one is end of life care. And again, that's around that distraction, not just for the patient, but the family as well. You know, drowning out what may be going on outside of the room, because often, particularly if you're in a hospital environment, with all the will in the world, your busy environments, there are noises that perhaps the family and the patient, you know, don't want to be hearing, and they will hear just through a closed door, you know. So it's nice sometimes to give that distraction, but it's not always appropriate to have Elvis Presley blaring out, you know, and sometimes it is far more appropriate to have some very inoffensive background music with some nice visuals. So this is what this offers. And you've got things like waves and crackling fires, but all of these, Piano by the Sea, right the way back to your crystals, this is your spa type music. Okay, so if we play all tracks at the top and then click on the first one, and again, I apologize if you can't hear the music, but give this a go after the session. If you click on the eye, then it gives you the opportunity of changing that visual. So we've got that very inoffensive background music, and now we've got a really nice visual to support somebody. Now, we use that a lot with one-to-one support as well. Again, not always appropriate to be going into a room and supporting somebody that's already quite anxious or agitated, and, you know, starting off with whack-a-mole or you know, bingo or horse racing or pig racing or something like that. But a really nice visual, you know, nice music can just help you to engage with that person. I often recommend putting the kittens or the dogs on. It's a really good starting point for a conversation, because people are often cat or dog people. They might not like animals at all, but at least you're having a conversation, because they'll tell you that. But again, it's about having that appropriate interaction with somebody, and the relaxation music gives you the opportunity of doing that. So do try that. And as I say, make that the first port of call if you've not used RITA before. So your radio shows, speeches and poetry. Poetry, very easy. You've got lots of different poetry in English and Welsh language as well. Very calming, very soothing. Lots of people really enjoy using that. Your speeches, they're all your key historical figures. They're all the original recordings. People remember where they were, what they were doing, who they were with. So again, they can be a really good starting point for a conversation. Some of the favourites in here are the radio shows. As I said before, you know, it's all around quality of life and well-being. Nothing improves well-being quite so much as music and laughter. And in here, we've got all the comedies. So you've got your Peter Cook, Peter Sellers, Spike Milligan, Dudley Moore. Sure, half of you won't have heard of any of those people, but they are very recognisable to a lot of your patients. Very recognisable voices, and they will remember the punchlines before you get to them, I can assure you. But in this section as well, we've got lots of audiobooks, and these are very, very well used. So the audio books can be very helpful. And then you've got things like Hancock's Half Hours, and all the different series of the Goons. Again, as I say, people will remember those. So do try them, you know, different levels of engagement. And, you know, as I say, the audio books tend to calm people, and the radio shows are about, you know, getting people laughing together and socialising. So with your images, TV clips and movies then, again, built in exactly the same way as your music section, just with more of your visuals. So your carers communicator is a new section. We've had some fabulous feedback around this. And this basically is a cross between a quiz and an encyclopedia. What we have found is we have a pub quiz on the system, which is extremely popular, but it is, you know, it's multiple choice and one word answers, really. Lots of people want to talk about different answers. And often if you're the person that's initiating that session and running the quiz, if you don't know the answers, it can become quite difficult to keep that conversation flowing. So that's what Carers Communicator is all about. It's giving you the opportunity of education and learning, and you know, talking about different things, which is great. Okay, so you'll see there you've got lots of different sections, from inventions and monarchy and great men and women, all sorts of things. We use the Commonwealth during the Commonwealth Games and the sporting clips. You go into inventions, you've got lots of different areas to choose from. So if you want to find out more about a chocolate bar, and let's face it, who doesn't? So obviously it says there the question around chocolate. Okay, you can then press for the answer, and as I say, you get quite a comprehensive answer there about chocolate. You've even got a little video as well. Okay, at this point, obviously, you'll probably be having an argument as to whether or not Dairy Milk or Galaxy is better, but clearly it's Dairy Milk. But you know, you'll often be having lots of conversations like that. That's absolutely fine. But if you are still having conversations about chocolate, if you press here for more, then it gives you even more information about chocolate. And again, like I say, most people, doesn't matter whether you're 8 or 108, people do like to learn things, and it is just a nice fun session. So we have lots and lots of really positive feedback on this Carers Companion, and it's just a really nice way of having that engagement and finding things out about people and finding out the things that people like. Okay, reminiscence is your photographs, so that's, you know, exactly the same as the music. You've got lots of different sections. You can select whichever one is the most appropriate. Within each of these categories, it will bring 10 random images back each time. There's not 10 in each section. It will bring 10 random images back each time you go into something. Okay, so when you click into it, it will give you a little bit of information about what that photograph is all about, and then down the bottom, if you click on the drawing pen in the bottom left hand corner, it will give you even more information. Okay, so as with everything else in RITA, RITA will always support you with content, and it will help you to navigate around and to tell you what things are. If you wanted to search for something using that icon in the top right hand corner, the magnifying glass there, if you click on there, you can search for different things. So you could search for somebody's particular interest or hobby or whatever, or occupation. So if I type in trains, it brings back lots of train photographs for you. Okay, and then again, you can continue that conversation. All right. We've then got your video and TV clips, and as I said before, you know, these are all, they're all vetted, they're all deemed to be appropriate. You've got lots and lots of different things in here, from sporting clips. You've got the World Cup 1966, loads and loads of different sporting clips for you. We've got commercials, you've got cartoons, there's daily life, including things like twin tub washing machines and holidays. Entertainment, as I said before, you've got things like Are You Being Served, Dad's Army, Faulty Towers, Morecambe Wise, Vicar of Dibley, One Foot in the Grave. They're all there, loads of different things, and you can just select whichever one you think is the most appropriate. So I mentioned Morecambe Wise earlier, so I can click into all the Morecambe Wise ones, and then again, you know, hopefully that will spark a conversation. And normally put something like this on and say, who's this, what's happening, what's going on, and people will tell you all about the different episodes and what they remember. RITA Faith is your religious content. So in here, we've got lots and lots of different religions. We're adding to these all the time at the moment. But as an example, if you go into Anglican, we've got Welsh and English language church services. So we can go into either. You've got lots of different ones. I mean, Easter's probably the next big one. There we go. We've got lots of different services, but you've got just normal services for every day of the week, really. But prayers, psalms, hymns, all sorts of things. And again, we've had fabulous feedback on the religious content that we've got within the system. You've got your 360 images here. which is like your relaxation music, but it's interactive. So there's nice music behind again, but you can actually go on safari, you can swim with dolphins, you can go on woodland walks, loads of different things, and people really enjoy that, and they can scroll around and see what they're walking with. But again, very, very popular activity and really nice and calming. Your fun and games then, so I'm not going to go into all of these because you can see how easy it is. Do have a look at your pig racing if you've not seen it yet. It's great fun and it just makes people laugh. And as I said, that's part of the principle behind RITA, is the laughter and the engagement and you know, getting people engaging. So you have got group activities like horse racing, pig racing, bingo, things like that. But you've also got things like higher and lower and bubble spin is great for hand-eye coordination. Solitaire, a classic game. But you have got things like free kick and snakes and ladders where you can have multiple players. Whack-a-mole is a timed activity, so you can see improvements of cognitive function and indeed declines in cognitive function as well sometimes. But again, it's a really good way of doing something, monitoring somebody, but it being a fun activity as opposed to being a test of some kind or something like that. You'll see they're all fairground style activities as opposed to it being, you know, like an Xbox with real life people running around shooting each other. That's not what RITA is all about. It is around that engagement and just that fun activity that is going to engage somebody and relevantly, really. The one I will show you is Jigsaw, because there is something unique with Jigsaw. So that's Audrey Hepburn, for those of you that don't recognise her. You can make it harder if somebody is quite good at it as well, with using the levels at the top. But if you click on my picture and take a picture in the top left hand corner, and then you can take a photograph, I apologise that it's of me, and you drop that menu down, sitting under my jigsaw is the photograph that I've just taken. All right, which is quite horrific, but there you go. So you can take a photograph of yourself with the patient, or the patient with a family member, or just a silly selfie, whatever you want to do. The most important thing about that is once you close the jigsaw, that jigsaw goes. It doesn't save the jigsaw in any way, shape or form. So don't worry about that. Okay, so from a privacy perspective, there's no problems at all. Books and quizzes then. So you've got your pub quiz that I mentioned before. So if you go into the red one, which member of the royal family was 21 in 1971? I don't know. Let's say Charles. It won't be, but there we go. No, Anne. So you don't have to show the answers. Okay, so you can go next question. It does it in batches of 10 and then it will show you the questions and answers. All right, so depending on who you're doing the quiz with, you might not want to show the answers, all right, but you might want to use it as a discussion point and then just show them at the end. You can put your own quizzes in there. So again, if you've got your local area quizzes and things like that, you can build your own quiz if you want to do that. You've also got word search, which is a particularly popular activity. So creative activities, there's a camera if you want to take some photographs for your jigsaw. You've got your painting activity, that's anything from autofill through to free draw. We've got the garden, so you can plant your plants, weed it, mow it, water it. You've got your aquarium. Now all of these activities are really good at helping with sleep-awake cycle. So, you know, relieving that boredom, stopping people from catnapping in the afternoon. With your aquarium, people literally will sit for hours and design their aquarium and add their fish, change the backgrounds, feed them, you know, do all sorts of things. It's great fun and people will literally sit for hours and do it. But it is very calming. But like I say, it will also give that stimulation to stop people from catnapping. Finally, then your personal and health. We've also got Show Me Where. Now, Show Me Where, again, we've had lots of really powerful feedback on this. So this basically gives you the option for somebody with compromised speech of showing where their pain might be. And again, very, very useful for people to be able to pinpoint that to you, but perhaps can't communicate that in the standard way. So do try that. Very, very effective. And then finally, on your baby readers, you've got Hear Me. So this is a speech and translation app. You can use it as a speech app, English to English, where you need to, but you can also currently translate in up to 23 different languages. So you'll see there that that's Portuguese to English, loads of different Portuguese phrases. I don't speak Portuguese, so I don't know what any of those phrases are. But if I press and hold at the bottom, and I can then select the first language, so say I want to change it to Ukrainian back to English, it's now changed those phrases to Ukrainian. Okay, so if I select any one of those statements,
I need my hearing aid.
You may not have heard that, but it just read out to me in English, I need my hearing aid. They're all the expected responses that statement would generate. So if I want to say I will get it for you, that's I will get it for you in Ukrainian. Using the option in the bottom right hand corner, I can build sentences through pictures, which can be very, very helpful for LD patients and residents as well. And then at the top, using the 4 options at the top, the one at the end that looks like a bed with a speech app in it, if you click on that one, this allows you to say something. It's the things that you would want to say to the patient. So are you okay? Can I get you anything? I am your nurse, doctor, consultant. They're all well-being phrases. There are loads and loads of them. If you wanted to say something as simple as are you okay? That's are you okay in Ukrainian. Okay, and that's really important because obviously there's nothing more isolating for anybody than not speaking the language of the environment that you find yourself in. Okay. So when we focus on quality of life and well-being, using the RITA system and using all of that content that I've just shown you there, what we find is the byproduct of doing all of those things has a massive impact on the outcomes that you can achieve within your environments.
So I just wanted to share some interesting information from our literature review that we found, which strengthens our thinking with regards to using reminiscence therapy. So I love this quote because it's all about sort of, as cognition sort of debates, the senses for people living with dementia are really important. So people with dementia are sensitive to sensory experiences on their environment. So we need to really think hard about their environment to make it understandable, comfortable and therapeutic if possible. This is just some of the learnings from our literature review when we're sort of like looking now at developing dementia-friendly and sensory-friendly ambulances. So what we learned is that, people living with dementia can have problems navigating and engaging with the environment and the people around you. Dementia-friendly design is a term frequently used but not always evaluated. Very, very little out there which looks at measurement and evaluation or has any sort of improvement methodology that sits behind making any changes and tracking them and making sure there are positive experiences and outcomes. We know that poor design disables people living with dementia. So, all of this evidence pushed us to want to do something and do things differently. There's also a distinct lack of research involving people living with dementia. And as I mentioned, anything we do, we want to do in partnership. So any changes or innovations that we make now to vehicles will be done in partnership with people who are sort of, helping us design and co-produce anything that we do. So loving that, and that's great. A sort of worldwide search on dementia-friendly ambulance environments gave us very little. There's no evaluation or published literature around any of this. A number of services, though, particularly, I do know a number of ambulance services in the UK have done some work to create better environments. Those include things like dementia-friendly toolkits, USB sticks for music, for example, pictures on blinds, on vehicles, so the blinds can be pulled up or pulled down. The person doesn't have to be looking at the image on the blind, for example. If they want to look out the window, they can. So great examples of work that has been done over the last few years. However, very little evidence on robust methodology or published evaluation work to help us move forward with this. So I believe we are one of the first trusts in the UK to pilot reminiscence therapy. And the next sort of like 5, 10, 15 minutes now, I just want to chat about one of the ways in which we're doing that by using what we call a RITA tablet, some software that's on a tablet. And RITA stands for Reminiscence Interactive Therapy Activities. So Mike will come in a moment and chat through, like it's from my improvement network, who we're working in partnership with on these tablets. And we'll chat through what that kit is, what it can do, and how we're working in partnership to make things better for patients and who we serve in Wales. This is just another, sorry, I skipped this one now, just some other sort of evidence which tells us that improvements to the environment can be effective. So, like I just mentioned, those pictures there in the back of vehicles, so we're looking at that now. Although there needs to be sensitivities to different cultures. We know in some dementias, for example, people can have hallucinations and become stressed by certain imagery. So we need to be very, very balanced and careful here, which is why any sort of innovation that we do with around artwork and pictures needs to be maybe done small scale and tested as we go, to make sure the impact on patients and staff is a positive one. We know that digital technology can be used to support. So using for our staff on the back of vehicles, for example, using their mobile phones, using their iPads, and using these RITA tablets is a good thing. Digital technology, we know that's how they're moving, so we need to maximise the use of these resources with people on the back of our vehicles. And this last little quota is just, reminiscence hardware sector that's integrated into the environment, can support people in a personal way. It does say there at the bottom there, look, this may be more challenging in settings where patients stay for a relatively short time. So you might think that being in the back of a vehicle is a short period of time, and yes, some of this technology doesn't suit everybody, but the learning that we've had so far is that people in pain or people who are stressed, it's often helpful for them to have distraction. I'm sure you're all aware, and I've read the news and see the news, we often struggle with long delays outside accidents and emergency. So people living with dementia, for example, can become stressed by that long wait, which can be up to a good period of hours. So having some of these activities on this reminiscence tablet they're a good thing, and they distract them and people can connect with them.
So I'll start with, what is RITA? Well, normally people at this particular point go, oh God, I was wondering who or what RITA is. There is method in the madness. As Al just said, it does stand for something. It stands for Reminiscence Interactive Therapeutic Activities. We do have a more generic version as well, called Rehabilitation and Interactive Therapeutic Activities. And the reason being is because RITA works incredibly well across a multitude of services: children's services, people with learning disabilities, A&E, ITU, and obviously they're more generic. Not everyone has dementia or any kind of memory impairment within those services, but RITA has been proven to work incredibly well there as well. Now, what it is an all-in-one touchscreen solution, and it offers digital reminiscence therapy and meaningful activities. Now, it says there that it's a relatively new tool in the fields of nursing and healthcare. Now, anyone that's experienced will know that reminiscence therapy isn't new. Things like art therapy and music therapy aren't new. What we've done to make it new and innovative is to provide a platform, a digital platform, to enable staff in a variety of settings to be able to deliver those type of interventions quickly and on the fly. Now, it's aimed at offering support for a wide range, as I mentioned earlier on, and cohort of individuals, including older people, people with mental health issues, dementia, of course, learning difficulties, acute brain injuries, stroke rehab patients, and so on and so forth. And it's a means of engaging them, reducing any distress or agitation they're experiencing. Isolation, depression, a big talking point at the moment is delirium. It's very commonly misdiagnosed as dementia, and behaviours that challenge. Not to mention boredom, particularly in hospital. Now, importantly, things that it's able to achieve and deliver is appropriate distraction and de-escalation. It's something that you can use to get someone to focus on within a stressful environment. Of course, ambulance services, whether we like it or not, are stressful environments for anyone, but for people who are quite complex, including those living with dementia, even more so. It's a cognitive stimulation, so it gets people thinking, it stimulates the brain. It prompts conversation via reminiscence content. So it could be old music tracks, it could be a TV clip, it could just simply be an image. I always use a few different examples of the type of reminiscence content that works. For instance, it could be a music track that stimulated a conversation about that maybe being the track played at the first dance of their wedding. It could be an image of a holiday destination that's prompted a conversation about the days when they used to go on holidays when they were children. It could be a TV clip, such as Morecambe and Wise or Dad's Army or One Foot in the Grave, that prompted a conversation about the days when, and we'll all remember this, we actually used to sit down as a family on a Saturday evening and watch those programs. It relieves boredom. Now, obviously, that's more appropriate to the hospital environment where boredom is a big problem. Boredom leads to stress, leads to anxiety, and therefore cognitive decline. But that does also happen in ambulances as well. As we all know, there's a lot of challenges in ambulance services at the moment, particularly having to wait outside of hospitals for hours and on end. And there's only so much that a paramedic can do to keep someone occupied and stimulated. And it also really supports communication. We've got communication aids within RITA, such as the Show Me Where It Hurts, which is a simple touchscreen capability using a traffic light-based system from Hurts a Little in green to Hurts a Lot in red, enabling non-verbal patients, or maybe those that don't speak English as a first language, they could have reverted back to their mother tongue as a consequence of dementia. It enables them to touch parts of their body on the screen, explaining where they may be experiencing pain. And we also have the Hear Me application. Now, that was originally co-designed with Queen Elizabeth Hospitals Birmingham and their LD team to support communication with non-verbal patients, whether they were literate or illiterate. So you can communicate using commonly used phrases in text, broken down into different categories. And we've now enabled translation as well. So you can translate on the fly, communicatively in 26 different languages, including the lovely Welsh language as well. So that is the story of RITA in Wales. It's 10 years in the making, and I'm incredibly proud to share that RITA is now available and being used in all health boards across Wales, in most hospitals, if not all hospitals. And we're re-engaging with sites that we engaged with years back to get them upgraded to use the most recent versions of RITA, which have been extensively enhanced, including that translation capability that I mentioned earlier on. Not to mention, we work with a great deal of local authorities across Wales, and therefore RITA is available in care homes and being used incredibly well in care homes. As you can probably tell, my thought process really was, well, we're engaged with every service really across Wales. It's in assessment units, day services, care homes, hospitals. There's one missing here, which I think is quite appropriate, and it's the ambulance service. And it's something that I brought up and engaged with Al 2 years ago now. It's been a long journey, but we have got there, and obviously the impact is clear to see, as you will see when Al continues shortly. And then finally, this is the journey we want to end up on. So we've got a couple of different regions within Wales that are using RITA extensively, and that is North Wales and Gwent. And we're going to be working with commissioners and senior hospital leaders to talk about how we can try and join the use of RITA up across the pathway. It provides all of that wonderful familiarity, distraction, de-escalation. So it's going to be a familiar, positive thing to have within that pathway. And what we want to do is seamlessly transport profiles from care homes in RITA into hospital environments as well, where you can import the profile that someone has in a care home environment, and then the care staff and the nurses on the wards in the hospital can interact with that same capability, which I think is going to be a wonderful thing. Ultimately, to get the service users back to their residents that they came from on the same care package and back to the same care facility. So it can only be a positive thing.
But just wanted to share some case studies with you, if I may. This first one, this RITA champion, this was the first call that she went to after she had the tablet, I believe. And her first experience of it was amazing. So a lady who actually had a hip fracture, and they really struggled to get her onto the vehicle. But then the RITA champion provided her with a tablet and was trying to engage with her. And there's an activity where you can build like an aquarium, and she was away and she was adding a scuba diver and the bubbles and the fish. Really engaged, distracted her wonderfully. You can see there. I had the pain relief, but never used it, and we struggled to get her off the vehicle in the end because she was so engrossed with what she was doing. So a good patient experience there for her, even though I'm sure you can imagine lots of pain. Another example here of somebody with, elderly person with Alzheimer's, waiting, long wait outside the hospital, loving the tablet, listening to the tunes, humming along. Also was looking at a few of the movie clips, becoming restless whilst waiting, but once started to use the activities, her mood settled. A study here where a person who hadn't been diagnosed with dementia but was experiencing memory problems, long wait, 5 hours at the back of the ambulance, thoroughly enjoyed playing the games and listening to the tunes, which brought back good memories and allowed him to sing along, and he remembered most of the words. This is feedback from staff. During these long handover delays we're encountering at A&Es at the moment, it really helped the patient and made the time pass quicker. Another case here, gentleman patient 95, the carer was involved and said that he liked hymns, didn't want to engage with the tablet, didn't want to hold it, didn't really want to look at it. But when the hymn started playing in the background, you could see the calming influence that had on him. So that, that just goes to show this, our RITA champions really need to know how to engage the piece of kit with the patients and the family. A lot of the time people don't want to engage with it, an iPad or a tablet, but if the music was playing or they were able to look at the pictures in the background, you can see it having a positive impact. And I love this study here where the lady with dementia was very agitated. I believe that she was becoming alcoholic after the pandemic, didn't really want to leave the house. So the journey to hospital was tough on her, was traumatic for her. So the champion used the tablet to distract, chose the music she wanted to listen to and what background pictures to look at. It was enough to calm her, make her forget about being in the ambulance, just long enough for them to reach the hospital without distress. Now her son travelled with them and was impressed with how calm she was. So by giving her the tablet and letting her choose, she was in control of something. So some really lovely patient experiences and outcomes there. And one that came through to the other day, just to mention, was a gentleman with mental health problems when he called 999 with some mental health issues. So again, a long delay, threw some music on, and he had a really good voice. So when it was like he was loving singing along, but the impact on the crew then, listening to him, was a lovely experience for all. I'm going to introduce Ben, who's one of our emergency medical technicians in Mid Wales. Hasn't been a RITA champion for long, but was kind enough to want to come along and say a few words about why he chose to work with us on this, why he thought reminiscence therapy would be valuable for him in his role, and some of the early learning to date really with some of the activities he uses and the impact that it's had on the patient. So can I bring you in, please, Ben? The floor is yours.
Good afternoon, all. So as Ali's mentioned, I haven't been a champion for too long at present. My sort of thoughts on joining and sort of offering my services, as you all know, it's quite obvious now. Long waits at hospital. With any patient, it's a long time offloading in an unfamiliar location, especially with people living with dementia. It's a tricky situation to be in, both for patient and crew. So anything I think that can help is something, and obviously willing to put my time forward to help out. Good feedback so far from 95% of the people I've tried it with. You get a couple of people that like to be left alone and like to be with their own sort of thoughts. So, but the majority of people now, it's a great distraction technique, as Alison and Mike have sort of mentioned. There's games on there, there's music, there's movie clips, everything really. Brilliant. You can pick the sort of genre or the era of music or film or videos. Literally something for everyone. As been mentioned, not just dementia patients. Children love it with the games on there, noughts and crosses, and spot the difference and things like that. So you know, it's for children, it's a daunting experience, being in an ambulance with some funny looking people in the back with masks or whatever on. But like I said, all in all, so far, good outcomes, good feedback from a lot of people, and most of all, it gives the patient a more sort of comfortable experience, and makes it a lot easier for the crew then to manage people when they're a lot calmer, and you've got that technique to be able to distract them and keep them sort of entertained for, you know, an amount of time, which unfortunately doesn't seem to be going down. So yeah, no, brilliant. I'd happily carry on and use this over and over again. But so far, all good.
Nice one, thanks Ben. So far so good then, thanks. And I know it's early days, but as I say, onwards and upwards, and we can really see the value of using some of this software with our patients. But you mentioned there sort of like, yes, you can see people are becoming calm and are distracted by some of the activities, but the impact it's having on you and your working experience too. So I think that's really important, because we know sort of like it's a stressful role, it's a stressful job. You're really trying to do the best for people. So if people are calm and can maybe have more meaningful conversations and discussions with people, I think the impact on, you know, we can't undervalue that as well, the impact it's having on the whole environment for you as well, delivering that care. So loving the feedback that everybody, all the champions are giving so far. Thanks, Ben.